Hey guys, welcome back to another story time video. Today we're going to be talking about how I almost ran from the cops in an actual car. So, I'll start this story time off with, my grandma has this, like, old Jeep Patriot. It's, like, a white, maybe, like, 2004 white Jeep Patriot. And, it's, like, small. And I'm taller than her. So my stepdad, it was fixing it because there was something wrong with the air conditioning or something. And it was my grandma's, so we just kept it at our house until he had time to like drive it over to the shop. And while it was at our house, it still like drove perfectly and stuff. All I had to do was fix the air conditioning. And one day I came home from school, the car was there, and I was just like, "Wait, can I do that?" Oh no. Okay. The key, my mom was at home and the keys were on the counter. So, I went downstairs on my PlayStation and I was like, "Hey boys, should I?" Cause so I was playing downstairs in the basement. There's like a huge TV down there, and then like next to the basement there isn't a garage door. It's just like two doors that open up like this. And outside of those doors was parking spots and stuff, or driveway. And so we went. I went down there, had the keys, and he was like, "Yeah, bet you won't, bet you won't." I was like, "Alright, fucking bet." So I went out there and I like turned it on. I was like a little bit scared. I just turned it on and like put it in reverse and just backed up a little bit and then put it into drive and just put a little bit forward. I was like, "Boom, boys, I drove it." They were like, "No, you didn't." I was like, "Yeah, I know I didn't." I literally just backed it up and then pulled it back into the right parking spot. And then oh, why my knee look like that? Um Later on, I got off the mic with them, and I was sitting on the couch on my phone. I was like, "Yo, maybe I should just take it for a drive around the block." I mean, like, I'm bigger than my grandma. My feet will reach. I'm 14. I'm about to have my permit. So, and it was during the daytime too, and it was like rainy and wet outside. I knew how to turn the wipers on, knew how to turn the headlights on, and all that stuff. So I just drove around the block. Nothing big. Seatbelt on and everything. Rearview mirror checked. And what was that? So I drove around the block, came back, and like right after I got back, my mom showed up like 4 minutes after. I was like, wow, perfect timing. So I drove it after she went to the shop because my stepdad owns a shop where he repairs the cars and stuff too. And they have a happy hour after they're done working, and they have like their friends over at the shop and like they talk and stuff, and they usually come home at like 8. So I'm sitting there thinking again. I was like, what if I just like real quick drive around the block again? I don't know, maybe around another block. Maybe go see one of my friends. And then, like, I went and drove around the block again like 3 more times and maybe. And I was also nervous because the clock in the Jeep was wrong. So I'm like, oh shit, I gotta get home. It said like 6 o'clock and it was actually like 7. And then it said like okay, just guess 6:27 and it'd actually be like 6:40. I mean 7:40. So that clock was all messed up. So I was like, oh shit, I gotta get home fast. So I got home. My parents came home. And then I was on FaceTime with one of my boys. And I was like, yo, to be honest though, I like really, really want to drive the Jeep again. It was nighttime and it was like 1 in the morning. So actually, that window over there, before I have a bunk bed, now the bunk bed like covers up the window. But I had a queen size bed and I was able to like jump through the window and land on the deck roof out there and then jump off the deck roof onto the ground. I mean, off the deck roof onto the air conditioning and then onto the ground. And it was just easy. It was just a little bit, it hurt to get back in the window because like it's very sharp on the middle edge. And so I went out, dude, I got the keys off the counter and then I went back upstairs, crawled through my window, went on the top of the roof, went down the air conditioning and then ran around the side of the house through the gate. Went out front, and remember, it's like 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm out front. Okay. I'm like looking around to see if I see anybody. And I was like, this will just be a fun time. I'll just bump to some music and just cruise down the road. Little did I know there was a cop waiting for me around the corner. But anyways, I got in the car. I turned it on for a few minutes, so it was like a sprinkling outside, and it was like really cold. So I just turned it on, let it warm up. Turned the wipers on, And remember, I know how to turn the headlights on. Put my seatbelt on, wipers on, and I pull out. I pull out. And guess what? I'm halfway down the road. I see a cop turn the corner, bro. And I'm like, hello. And then I look in my rearview mirror. He's turning around. And I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I do? How do I mess up? And then I look down and my headlights aren't on. My headlights are not on at all. And I'm like, oh shit, I'm fucked. I'm fucked, dude. What is my mom gonna think? She's gonna beat my ass, right? So he turns around, he starts following me. Dude, I like whip it around the corner. I'm like, yo, should I try to lose the cops? Should I just pull over and be nice, or am I thugging it? Should I just run? It was a 50-50 decision. He saw me, and like when I'm leaving, there's like a right, like he came from here, and then I was like right here when he turned the corner, and he made a U-turn like right here, and then backed up and then started following me. So the right-hand turn, I whipped it around the corner, and I went up, didn't use my blinker at all, whipped it around another corner, and then took another left, and then I lost him for a second. Then he caught it behind me, and turned his lights on. And I was like, oh shit, I'm not gonna. He also had like a Charger, so it's like I'm not gonna outrun this guy in a Jeep Patriot. And pulled me over. He was like, what are you doing driving tonight, little guy? I was like, little guy? I'm a grown ass man. I am a grown ass man. Fuck you calling me little guy? No, I didn't actually say that. But he's like, what are you doing driving out here, young man? And I was like, oh, I don't know. It's just an experiment because my teacher's starting to talk about it since I'm about to be in high school. And he's like, oh, really? He was like, yeah, well, you could have gotten an accident or something because your headlights weren't on. I was like, yeah, I know. And he's like, how old are you? And I'm like, 14. He's like, okay, what's your first name and last name? I was like, Zane. And then he's like, what's your last name? I was like, DeGraw. And he's like, and what's your date of birth? I was like, November 4th, 2005. And he's like, okay, I'll be right back. And he searched me on the computer because I already have a case for me trying to fight an old guy. That'll be a different story. He was like, okay, now what's your mom's first and last name? I was like, Rhonda, not gonna say her whole name. And he was like, okay. So he typed her name in, then called my mom. And she was like, okay. He's like, okay, your mom's gonna be on her way soon. I was like, fuck, you really had to call my mom? You could have just literally followed me to the house, saw me park it, and then went back in my house. You could have just followed me home. And then saw me park it with the keys and then walked back in my house. You could have just done that. You didn't have to call my mom. And he's like, okay, your mom's gonna be here soon. I'm like, alright, whatever, what the fuck. So then another officer shows up. He's like, okay, I'm gonna go get your mom, and the other cop's gonna stay here with you. I was like, okay, I don't really fucking care. And then he went and got my mom. My mom saw me. She's like crying and stuff. I'm like, mom, relax. It's fine, mom, relax. And she's like, it's not fine. It's not fine. And I got out of the car. I went over to this passenger side seat. She drove it home. I got home. She's like, get your ass in bed now. And you ain't coming out of that room for a while. And that was like a year ago, maybe. So that was story time of me almost running from the police.